Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the 2023 year-end live stream. My name is Glenn Gers, and I am Writing for Screens. I am the owner, creator, and only person on this channel in which I am trying to take the 25 years of professional work in movies and TV here in Los Angeles, California, and give you some of the things that I had to figure out for myself in that career before I leave the business and go off to write a novel. So I have created this channel. There are a whole lot of, let me just show you a quick screen grab of the channel. The first 3 playlists down there at the bottom of that screen. Let's look at a closer version. The first 3 playlists are Screenwriting Essentials, Screenwriting Tools, Skills, and Craft, and The Process Being a Writer. These are each 10-minute lesson videos on a topic. I have tried to put the topic right there in the title and the thumbnail, so all you have to do is browse the thumbnails and go, oh, genre, character, dialogue, or what's this thing? And check it out. 10 minutes of concise, precise, practical, useful tips and tricks. Because here's the thing. There is no right way to write. There is no wrong way to create. There is no right or wrong in the arts. Every artist has to pick out their own path. They have to choose their own work and what they want to do. So all I can do is give you some skills, some tools, some things to work with or think about, and you have to figure out whether they work for you. And if they do, you use them, and if they don't, get rid of them, because the most important thing is for you to figure out what works for you to do what you want to do. That's the name of the game, and all I can do is offer you this stuff, which is here in these 50 videos that are on these 3 playlists. Then there's a whole lot of live streams. I come to you live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Zone to talk for an hour about various topics. Today it's going to be summing up the year 2023 in terms of the art, the business, and what this channel's been doing. And so to kick that off, I'm going to say hello to all the people who are here, the regulars. Hi, Darian. Hi, R. Fung. Hello, Nathan. Yes, thank you. Scratchy cowboy shirt. Hello, Hasko. And Willie. Hi, hand pink waving. Nice to see you. Hello, FTS. Hi, Donna. And Jean on the right at the beginning here this time. Hi. Ricky, good to see you, and everyone doing the thing. Thank you. And then we got play your own style. I think Fear of Writing is the most useless video? I'm going to come back to this one. Okay. Okay, let me just grab a screenshot of that so that I can remember it. Okay, hi, Doreen. Hello, Sonia. Hello, Donna. Hello again. Donna has multiple personalities. Hello, Adam Lum. Okay, so let's just get right into this stuff, because I want to talk very briefly about I'm going to take the rest of the year off. I'm not going to do live streams the next 2 weeks, so I wanted to sort of think about where we got here, how we got here, where we are, what's going on. Partly this was provoked by getting one of these. I got a YouTube email. YouTube sends you emails, tells you what happened to me this year on YouTube, and they said I could snap it and share it. I'm doing it this way because I'm not just doing enough social media. Anyway, so I got almost 6,500 new subscribers, and I say hello to you. Thank you. 172,000 views. This is cool stuff. It's funny because in this world that we're in, you have to get hundreds of thousands, you have to get millions, and then you count. 172,000 views, even if those views are short, that's a lot more than I would be doing if I was running a writing class in some room here in some office park. So I'm really glad that you guys are here. I'm really appreciative. And as such, I want to talk to you about some of the stuff that has been happening first in the business. Just let's look at where the business is. Now, I'm talking about America because I live and work in America, and I just don't know that much about other global industries. But in America, we were shaken by a conglomeration of strikes, a pile of strikes, and they're not over yet. There's some still to come. Most powerfully, the actors and the writers, and these strikes were, I believe, caused by a larger business reality, which is consolidation of the entertainment industry into fewer and fewer companies, and the shift to streaming distribution. Because as I have often said, the entertainment business is actually the distribution business. In other words, those companies, all those companies that make movies and TV shows and streaming series and all that stuff, the business they are actually in is distributing it to you, not making it. They make it in order to have something to distribute. But the way they make their money is by showing it and getting paid for that in some way. And that has been an enormous change, because for the first 100 years of Hollywood, the first 100 years of the American film and TV industry, it was a fairly small set of companies distributing either through theaters or through home media, which includes TV, cable, DVD, VHS, all the different ways that they've gotten stuff into your home. All of that is going away in favor of digital media, whether it's to your phone, your watch, your eyeglasses, your wall-sized TV, whatever that is. That shift changed the economics and business model of the industry entirely, which changed what the companies wanted to make. And that changed the art. So the thing about this is all of the companies are paying many artisans and artists, creators, technicians, all sorts of collaborators who make these things, because it takes a lot of people to make even the smallest thing that you're watching. And all of those people had contracts based in the old way of doing business, and all of that is changing. And so what I want to talk about here is that what this all is signifying is that the business is going away. The business that we have known in the first 100 years is already gone. There are some remnants. A lot of the remnants are people. And truthfully, when those executives and stars that started in the 20th century are going, and they're going fast, and I don't mean dying, I mean retiring or just being put out of business, a whole new world is going to be here. So, Let me just and guys, you don't have to argue. Please don't argue in the chat. I'll get to the uselessness of my videos. But let me just stay on this topic for a minute, which is essentially more and more of the things that we can consume as artistic consumers is being fed to us by fewer and fewer companies with more and more opaque business models, ways in which we can understand how the business is done, and less interested in our needs as consumers, as an audience. And what that means is there's an overall business culture, I believe globally, in all businesses, in which business is kind of started trying to eat the world and is now basically eating itself. In other words, the concern of business for profits to shareholders and for profits, for high pay to the people who decide who gets the pay, a very, very small swash of executives, has meant that essentially the business is destroying itself because it can find what you'd call money balls, optimizations to try to give the company more and more while giving the employees and the public less and less. And so sooner or later, they are simply going to destroy the world. So I got to say, I think 2023 is sort of a marker of really bad times in many ways. The main thing I'm trying to get here is I believe that this decade that we are just getting into is the end of the entertainment business as we know it. In other words, as I said, anything that was established or created in the 20th century and dragged on into the first 10, 15 years of the 21st is old. It's over. It is no longer the center of the business, no longer the center of the art. Is that good? Is that bad? It's probably good in a certain sense. New things are going to happen. New discoveries are going to be made creatively. New ways of using art and of relating art to the audience are building. They're happening. That's natural. It's good. It has always been happening, and it will always continue to happen. I don't think this is necessarily the worst thing. It's really bad for anyone who was locked into the way that we have been going so far. My advice to you guys, because that's what this is about. This is not about my opinion. This is about trying to find useful advice for you. And so the useful advice here is this is happening, okay? This is not if we don't do something, this will happen. It is happening, okay? Oh, there we go. The old model of doing things is over, and truly, we're not really sure what the new model is going to be. So my advice for you is you're on a river, okay? You're in a boat on a river, and the river is moving very fast and has currents in it. And you can see the currents by the waves and you can see if there's rocks in the water or the shape of the depth of the river. All of that, you have to be looking to try and figure out what that is, because the river is going. It is going to go whether you like it or not, whether you are alive or not, whether you drown or crash or go to the shore, the river's going. So what I would advise you is if you want to be in the river, learn about the river. Keep your eye on the river because it is always changing. And any advisors, teachers, great sages, or great talents up to now who don't talk about this as the thing you should be doing, I believe you should honestly look at as interesting but out of date. They may give you useful things. Everyone has something useful to listen to, but the main thing that you should be doing is keeping your eye on what's going on and what the possibilities are for you, which are not necessarily the big numbers. You're not going to be making Barbie and Oppenheimer, okay? If you are, you wouldn't be watching this show. So question your expectations of what the business is, of what you're going to be doing. Rethink what you think you can do and be open to all of the possibilities. That is my advice about the business, because truly, nobody knows what's going to happen. We've got a basic sense that big corporations are going to gobble up more and more. They're going to get in more and more debt, and they're going to then shrink what they release. They're going to stay big, but they're going to give us less. There's going to be less streaming channels with less shows, and it's going to be more difficult for people to work in that business. But there's going to be many other outlets, just like theater. Theater sort of was a widespread thing, and then it became a very narrow, high-priced, big business, and then other little theaters opened, little neighborhood theaters and regional theaters and off Broadway. That's going to happen in the screen business, because honestly, I believe the screen business, like the theater business, is going to become not the center of culture anymore. Okay, I'm going to quickly do a quick scan of these comments, because there's a lot of them. Hello, Helene. Okay, thank you. Hi. About the about the fear of writing. Don't argue with. Let's get to this. Okay, we're doing. Okay, let me just get through the rest of this, because it's really good stuff. It's really useful. Okay, here's the deal. That's the business. The business 2023. It's in a mess, and it's going to get worse in many ways. But there are ways around the big business, and that's where you should be looking. That is my main business advice. My art advice is totally different. This is the worst of times for business, the best of times for being a creator who isn't in the business. There has never been so much available technology for you to create. Okay. Yes, some of it costs a fair amount of money, but still, it's more accessible than it has ever been. And you can work with the small stuff, the stuff that's already on your phone, the stuff that is free internet access. There is a lot of technology that allows you to be creative at your fingertips for the first time in history. And I urge you to look at that and say, what can I do with that? What can I do? Not how do I make Oppenheimer, but how do I make what I can make? Okay? The art forms themselves, movies, TV shows, whatever you want to call them, they're changing. Okay? Get in on it. Explore it. Use it. Figure out your own way to do it, even if that's totally different or even if it's totally old-fashioned. If you want to do very old-fashioned stuff with new-fashioned content and subject matter and technology, do that. Whatever you want to do, use what's available to you right now, because it truly, truly is there, as long as you stop thinking, oh, I've got to get on a network for my TV show. That's the main thing. There's going to be new forms of art. Gaming is going to blend into art. Gaming is going to become one of the main forms of art, of creative narrative art. Social media, all these things, they're going to kind of blur into storytelling. They're going to blur into new forms. I don't know what they are, but I know that they're there. Because if you can reach an audience of hundreds of thousands of people with your TikTok or your Instagram or your Facebook, you are going to figure out a way to create characters and tell stories through that medium. Okay, through the Substacks and the YouTubes and the Vimeos. It's there right now, and it is just going to get more and more powerful, and the standard networks are actually going to get a little less powerful. They're going to lock onto what they've got, but there are going to be more ways to work around them. So once again, art forms are changing. Find your way into that. Explore it. Play with it. Have fun. Okay? There are more tools, creative tools, available to you than any artists have ever had in history. Use them. Figure out how to tell a story with what you've got, even if it doesn't look like your favorite TV show or your favorite movie. Figure out what you can do with what we've got going on right here. This technology that I'm using, the technology that is available to all of you, is for you to use. Figure out your way. The other thing about this that's really important is there's no center anymore. There used to be one Hollywood and one set of networks in America, and they basically controlled all of art, all of the narrative screen art. That's no longer true. First of all, there are whole industries in whole other countries and continents that are building beautiful audiences and production and creating their own non-Hollywood, non-American ways of telling stories. Do that, be that, explore all of it, figure out your way. But even in the American, European, whatever you want to call it, culture center, there's no more center. There are a couple of publishers and a couple of streamers and a couple of studios, a couple of big concert venues, and they are doing a little stripe of big budget stuff. But that's not the center of the culture anymore. The center of the culture is all over the place. People are finding their own communities and reaching out and creating their own communities. Sometimes that gets caught up in that big business, but a lot of times it doesn't. That's okay. There is no center. Find your audience, your voice, your medium. Find your way to do it. You may get picked up like Reservation Dogs did. The people who were working in Oklahoma, the Native American artists and actors and creators who were there for decades before FX picked them up, because they luckily got a deal through, Taika Waititi getting famous for Marvel movies. All of a sudden, Reservation Dogs, which is a marvelous show, by the way, you should really watch it, worth seeing, but worth studying and thinking, okay, that is a whole other, no one would have said, do that. None of the Hollywood advisors would have said, oh, this is where you're going to make a hit. But they did. And I really want you to take this really, really seriously. Okay, I'm going to do some quick, go through the comments before they get too crazy. Okay, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate it. I truly, truly appreciate it. I am not offended if someone doesn't like my thing. I don't believe that they meant anything harmful by it. We'll get to it. Adam is bringing up another topic, which I will get to maybe later, which is whether or not these rankings, things like the blacklist or anything with numbers, if art can be judged by numbers. Okay, 6,000 subscribers, but only 50 people watching your live stream. Hey, that's okay. Not everyone can sit for an hour and watch a live stream in the middle of the day in the USA, and God knows what time it is in other places. All sorts of places. People are living their lives. One of the things you want to do is make your work available to them whenever. It's lovely to have you all here on live, but the truth is, many, one of these live streams will get 200-300 views later, when people can watch them at their own time. That's cool. Hi, Michael. Okay, so Sonia is saying that Fear of Writing is one of the most important videos on the channel, and I really appreciate that. But what I have said is really, really true. Everyone has to figure out whether or not any particular idea or tool is useful to them. And honestly, I think that to a certain extent, our original play your own style was talking about a theoretical concept. The theoretical concept is, if you're afraid of writing, why would you become a writer? And the answer is often you can't because you're afraid, but you want to. And that's really what that was about. Thank you so much, Darian. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Donna. Really appreciate. Okay, we're getting there. We're gonna get to 20,000. We're gonna get to 20,000 in 2024. Okay. It's fine. Absolutely no problem. No problem. Play your own style. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get the comments that are to do with what I just talked about. Corporate greed isn't new, but it really ramped up in the 1980s, and Hollywood knew it then. Wall Street greed is good. Yes, this is true. Yes, we are seeing currently, this is just my belief based on what I have read and studied. We are currently seeing the 50-year payoff of a long building philosophy. I even believe it is essentially a religion of corporate profit and greed, what they call free market capitalism. Started in the late 70s, flourished in Hollywood in the 1980s as greed is good. And yeah, the thing is, it seemed like an interesting concept. Hey, if everyone's out for themselves and it would be to their interest to do better work, to do faster work, to do cheaper work, that would all work. It didn't work out that way. But the theory was that first of all that everyone's self-interest would include the interest in taking care of your other people on the planet, because it's in your interest to not destroy things. Turns out people are not that smart. And second of all, the theory of trickling down. In other words, if you give some people a whole lot of money, they'll spend it and it'll spread out to the rest of us. Also didn't work out. Okay, yes, it is indeed the best of times and the worst of times, and that is my message today. Don't worry about it. Play your own style. Not at all a problem. Hi, Nacho. Okay, so let's get to the year end for this particular channel. A very brief thought, because these videos that I've done. There's about 50 of them now. I did 18 this year, which was actually a lot of work, plus 50 live streams. And there's 3 videos I have left to do. And then I'm going to be done. And this is a weird thing, but I'm going to be done. I'm going to keep this channel going and keep the live streams going as much as I can, because I like it. I like doing this, and I feel like there's something else to do here. But these videos, the lesson videos, these short, really crafted and I think most helpful videos, I'm done. And I don't want to just keep doing them because that's good business or because it's fun or because it's not fun for me, honestly. It's a lot of work. But this is really the crucial lesson that I got when I looked back on this concept that I was going to be saying to you, hey, this channel that we're all having fun with, I'm done. But I'm not going to be done with the live streams, and I will find other things to do with it. But that basic, essential lesson set is going to be done. And that made me think about the concept which is sold to you all the time, which is you got to keep providing more content, the endless feed, the holding your audience, getting more and more engagement, as they call it, more time on your site, more clicks, whatever it is, that is actually the purpose of the business. It's not the purpose. Like, I am not here to get clicks. I am not here to engage you and get more of your engagement so that YouTube knows it. The purpose of what I was doing was to tell you certain things that I thought would be useful for you. There's a limited number of them. I don't want this to be about you coming to me all the time. The whole point is you're supposed to go write something. You're supposed to take the bits and pieces and then move on. If I have done this well, you will only come to see me for nostalgia and mild entertainment. Like college or high school or anything like that. If I do it well, you leave and you go do your thing. And that is also true of any work of art. What you are doing, you need to do it and to recognize that the endless engagement is not good for you. It's not good for your audience, okay? The endless feed is bad for your audience and it's bad for your work because it makes your art about itself. It makes your art about, hey, come see more of this. I'll have more tomorrow. Come back, come back, come back. And then nothing is ever enough and nothing is ever important. That's not good art. Good art has a beginning, middle, and end. Good art is about one thing, perhaps with all the complexity of that thing, and then you do another piece of art about another thing. You can't just keep making it about engage me, engage me, engage me. That is not even the best universe. Even the Marvel universe has found out you have to stop at some point. So please learn to love your limits. Learn to love the things that end. Learn to love the fact that you can't do everything and say everything and reach everyone and spend all their time with you. Make your thing about a thing and then be done with it. Make your thing as good as you can and then move on. Do the project you can work on within your reality. If you are working part-time on your art in the afternoons after a long shift and before another long shift, do something that you can fit into that reality. Learn to love your limits. Learn to accept that you are not going to take over the universe. You're not supposed to. That is my crucial lesson, okay? The next lesson is, and this comes from all the things we've been talking about, things change. Don't assume that anything that has been is good or right or eternal, and whatever is going on now is not going to last. So just do what you can do right now. Do the best you can do right now and then move on, because nothing is everything. Nothing in your work is everything. Nothing in your work is so important that you should fear about it, or you should fight about it. You should fight to make your work as good as it can be in the reality of the situation you're in, but do the best you can with what you've got and move on. Now, this is kind of a controversial thing here. This one's the controversial one. Don't wait for permission or perfection. And there's a lot of teachers and a lot of artists who would say, no, you have to make it as good as you can. You have to push and push and push and push. And I agree. You do have to make it as good as you can. But that as you can, as good as you can, at any given moment, is going to be limited. It's going to be the best you can do, the perfectest you can do at the moment. And you have to learn that there's a point at which you accept that limit. You learn to love your limits and say, this is as perfect as it can be right now, and then move on and do another thing. That is the most important thing about being an artist. Show up, do the thing, make your work, and then do another work. Keep doing it, because things change and nothing is everything. So therefore, it really comes down to my biggest and most eternal statement. Do what you can as who you are with what you have right now. Don't wait. Don't worry. Just do what you can for whoever you are, whether or not you think they're going to like it, whether or not you're going to have a big audience or a small audience, whether or not it's going to be embarrassing and failed. Just do what you can do, and then you can learn from it, and then you can have some fun, and you can see what works and what doesn't, and you do more. And that is what every artist should do all the time. And those are my year-end lessons. I will run them again at the end of this hour, but now I want to get there's been so many comments, and I really want to get to them. Okay, so first of all, hi Nacho. Thank you, Doreen. Yes, Donna, that is awesome. It is wonderful that you've been doing some work. That's great. In old times, there are plays before the movies. Then TV appears. Yes, exactly. And this is about art forms changing. They are changing. There's no question. Movies, as we know them, will become like classical music concerts. It'll be a thing that you do, that some people go to, but it's not going to be the main thing. Things are changing. So I just do remember yes, it may be that you're going to write the best opera of 1927, and that's sort of the end of the opera era, but you might be doing that, and that's cool. But you also might be saying, what's on radio? What's the new art form? What can I do in it? Because there might be some really cool stuff happening. Okay, thank you. I am so glad. I trust Najo to keep working and keep trying. Still, people talk about Top Gun Maverick. Do they? Okay, let's talk about that. Top Gun Maverick was an awfully big deal a year ago. Okay, a year and a half ago. And honestly, now they don't talk about it because it was just the flavor of the week. It was just the number one. There's always going to be a number one at the box office, but that doesn't mean it's actually important or good or even that big a seller. The number one will be the number one, even if that's the numbers are actually smaller than they've ever been. Steve Allen, a famous talk show host on television and comedian in the 1950s and 60s, he once said, even if the heads of all three of the TV networks were complete idiots, one of them would still be number one. And that is true. And it's a really important quote to remember. When you say, what's the number one thing on the list today, that could be 12 people liking it because the other one was 11 people. The fact that essentially a small subset of the business managed to sell a big bunch of tickets 2 summers ago at the end of the pandemic with an old-fashioned movie that was going to a certain audience. Yeah, sure. It doesn't mean we should have more Top Gun Mavericks. We really shouldn't. I honestly don't believe we need any more Top Gun Mavericks. And it was fine. It was a completely fine, generic movie. We inmates at Ward 6 are planning an escape and meetup in my mind. Okay, yes, exactly. Jean is finding a new art form in her own mind, and I like it. Okay. Yuji, brainstorming, write a story, generate AI pics of the scenes, record audiobooks, combine the AI pics, the audio, and into YTVs, and survive through selling merch. Yes, yeah, this is absolutely, yes, you kid, no, that's not a bad idea. Don't try to learn how to work with the AI so you're not just creating something that you've sent through a processor. Try and learn the skills to do whatever tweaking and reshaping of the imagery on your own through Photoshop or whatever technology you can that you get your hands on it. I personally believe. Haskell is going to be at Jean's meeting in her head. Okay. Yes. Okay. I thought this is church. Write every day and turn into Glenn on Wednesday for Leah. Yes. To a certain extent, we're doing a little church here. It's the end of the year. I want a revival. I want all of you to turn away from the things that keep you down and grab on to the many, many things that allow you to do your work. Hi, Brent. You're very, very welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah. Let's do some of the oh captain, my captain stuff. I get it. Um, yes, we are in content overload time. That's the other thing. Honestly, nothing outstanding until my project goes live. Yes, Sonia, good for you. Yeah, that's the other thing. When I said there's no center, I really meant that. There will be Taylor Swift. There will be Barbenheimer. There will be these things that capture the mass mediums for moments. What's interesting is how fast they are passing now. But they do, and they make a ton of money, and they are big, but they are not honestly important like things used to be, because there is no center, because there's a lot of people who just don't care. And it used to be those people just didn't look at the arts at all. But now what they're doing is saying, hey, I will find my alternative art. And there's a lot of alternatives going on. There is too much content. No single stream of it will, as far as I can tell in the near future, be the center. There is no more center. So that's what I'm offering to you is the freedom that comes with the fact that the old world, the 20th century, and the many centuries that led up to it are kind of over. And that's in some ways it will be sad for some of us who liked it, but at the same time it's a relief and it's exciting, and there's new things happening all over the world in new ways. And what I urge you to do is say, can I find a way personally to survive creating, to pay my rent and feed my family and have some healthy free time, and do something that I can put out to an audience? Michael says, the interaction with a veteran writer keeps you grounded. I'm glad. I am very, very glad. Do the thing sums it up. Yes, that's it. There's something about the midweek boost. Yes, writing vitamins. That's what we're here for. I am giving you free. The key here is watch out for people who are selling you stuff. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Brasileiro agrees with Michael about the value of hearing me, and I appreciate that. Do the thing. Yes. Okay. Art ends, thought lives on. Thoughts live on. Yes, this is damn true. The truth is, even the greatest, honestly, as much as people talk about Shakespeare now, he's not central. He's not valid. He's valuable, but it is not like that is. There's a lot of people who live their whole life without knowing anything about Shakespeare. There was a period when you really couldn't be in the culture and not know it. But that culture was very narrow then, very small, and did beautiful work with what it had to offer. But it's been growing. It's been getting bigger. Okay. I believe the phrase "the great American novel" was phrased by writing teachers, an impossible goal. Impossible only in the sense of, for instance, was Citizen Kane the great American movie of the 20th century? Maybe Star Wars was. Maybe Finding Nemo was. The key to all of this is greatness is far more transitory than you think. And greatness is more, to me, a matter of in the moment, connecting with someone, being able to see your work reach someone, and being able to live your life while you do that. And if that's a small but sturdy audience, if you're doing a community theater or a web series or a zine or readings at a little shop, whatever that is, that's really great. And it can be actually great, truly, truly great. That's it. Ranking. Adam had mentioned this question of ranking. Top 10 of the year. Not my thing. Not my favorite thing. I don't like it. don't. I find the idea of looking back and saying what happened, sort of Spotify Wrapped for your own life, is valuable. But to say this is the best part, or even because you watched more of this or more of that, it's more important. I don't know that that's true. I do know that it is valuable. Greatness, I believe, occurs far more often than people in the judging industry allow. Greatness can happen in all sorts of twisted and failed and small-time ways. And it's real greatness. That's the thing. There's so much greatness. And some people say, "Oh, you're cheapening it. You're giving too much value to too many different things, and therefore real value doesn't get its due." I don't think so. I mean, look at my office. It's a mess. It's full of a lot of stuff because that's how I think it works. I think that there's a lot of greatness, and our job is to stop looking for the one greatness that somebody else is paying the most for or writing the most magazine articles about, and instead do the greatness that you can do. Okay, so let's just remember that. Do what you can as who you are with what you have right now. That is what makes greatness. Your greatness will come from the magical talents that you have, the skills you've got, and the amount of diligence and devotion and love and fun that you put into making it often, as much as you can. That tends to make greatness. And I believe that's great. Yeah, what's more important, Barbie or the Elephant Man? What do you wish you had made? Obviously, neither, and instead you do your own thing. Yes, exactly. We all are constantly taking in all these things. And that gets cooked into your particular talent and your particular vision and your particular voice. I'm going to run through these one more time because, not that we're done, but it just seems really important for you to get this. Just get this, okay? First of all, question your expectations. Rethink. Be open. Look around at the river you are on and do the best you can to make your stuff in that place, okay? Then, art forms are changing. Please open your mind to them. Get in on it. Try and find your way to do whatever you can do with all of these amazing technologies. There are so many tools available to you, more than any artist ever had in history. So use them. Use them, play with them. So what if you're not an expert? The more you do, the more you will become expert. There is no center at the moment. The world has gone global. And in this global world where, we can connect to each other, we can connect to people on the other side of the planet, to countries and cultures and experiences that are very, very different from ours. That didn't used to happen. And now it happens all the time. And that means that our very definition of culture, our very definition of art should change and stop being so hierarchical. Stop being so, this is the good stuff and the rest of you have to go off and get better and maybe we'll let you in the club. That's not how it should work anymore. And please, do not buy the business concept of endless feed. Instead, recognize that if you are doing something and the whole point of it is simply to get attention for you, to get more time, more clicks, more engagement, you have betrayed yourself, you've betrayed your work, you've betrayed the audience. The art should not be about getting attention for the art. The art should be about the contents and artisticness, the style, the method, the voice of the art. Learn to love your limits. Work within your reality. Work within the reality of the piece you're on. It's not going to do everything. It's not going to say everything. Just make it work within its limits. Things change. Nothing is everything. Don't wait for permission or perfection because you want to do what you can as who you are with what you have right now. That is the lesson of 2023. I suspect it's going to be the lesson of 2024 too, because that's what I got to tell you. How often am I streaming, Ben? I will tell you. I have a card about that, okay? I stream every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for an hour. The live streams then go up and can be watched at any time. You can watch live streams I did 3 years ago. And that's the point. The point is, who knows when you'll stumble into it, when you'll want to see them. It shouldn't be a, catch me if you can. Okay. It should be it's here when you want it. It's all good. Next 2 weeks, I'm going to be off. There will be an announcement coming later today or tomorrow. But the next 2 weeks, I'm taking off. Going to live my life a bit. Shakespeare? What's that? Sounds foamy indeed. Any thoughts on making a practical New Year's writing plan? Yes. Whatever your writing plan is, have it be realistic to your reality so that it's better to do a little bit every day or every time you can, and let it build over time. I actually did a couple of videos. Like I said, it's all done. It's all in the videos. The first is to take a look at that is create a ritual. I'm going to put a link to that down in the description as soon as this is over. And then we got this one, which is, small steps. This is it. Small steps. That's the other thing, to figure out your writing practice. And then this one, a process of questions. Those would be my main first steps of advice for creating a writing plan, which is you got to figure out what you're trying to do, what the actual requirements are of the work. Like if you need to write 200 scenes or if you need to write 12 scenes, if you need to write 3 characters or 50 characters, if you need to write poetry or journalism, that's going to change your writing plan. So you got to adapt it to your reality. Then when and how you can work. If you have a job, if you have school, if you have a family, and you probably have one of those, or you are just, you have a health condition and you're better in the morning than the evening. Whatever it is, get real about that and then work within it. The main thing is open the document, find a way to do a bit of work every day, if possible. That's really, really important. If you want to be, consistent. Sometimes, your writing plan is, I'm not going to write anything for a month and then I'm going to take a week off and I'm going to write all day. I found that not to work. For me, that never worked. But it's just a thought. Anyway, the practical plans are in the description. About 10 minutes after this video is done, you'll see some links to some videos that are about that. Hello, PG Bell. First short film screening at the BBC this evening. For those of you in the UK, check out PG Bell's first short film. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm really, really glad. That is lovely. I liked Barbenheimer, not the movies themselves. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Although Barbie the doll may destroy women's self-image, but the movie didn't. The movie was about that. So I give Barbie and Oppenheimer huge credit. They were both, as far as I'm concerned, magnificent works. But once again, as you'll notice, I think a lot of stuff is great. I really, really do. When art is placed on an academic pedestal, it turns back on the masses. Never like the arrogance of John Simon. John Simon was a theater critic in New York back in the 20th century. Yes, I do believe that there is a constant pull between specialists, the academics, artists, experts in a field, and the masses, the people who are just going to check out the movie or the book or the video game or whatever it is in their spare time. It's not that important to them. Or even the ones who are the masses who are loving this art form but are not necessarily academics about it. They love it for what they get from it. Those two audiences are both real. They are both valuable. Neither one is right. what you really want to do is think about what is it for you as an artist that matters in those two audiences. What can you learn from those audiences? What can you give to those audiences? You want to adjust your proportions. It's like you're cooking, and you know that there's different people who like different things, and some like it saltier and some like it sweeter. You have to figure out how you're going to do your recipe, and you may lose one group if they don't like that thing, but you could also say, well, what is it about them that is involved in my work, and do I want to feed them? Something to think about. Do I get excited about the upcoming options and opportunities that you want to join and create, as well as the ones you... Yes, I certainly do. I am actually excited. I'm trying to learn how to manipulate TikTok, how to use TikTok. I haven't started really. Just try to learn about it. But mainly the question of self-publishing, the question of... I honestly wish I had a little more life in me, years, to get more proficient at things like video games, graphic novels, animation. These art forms are all finding new narrative voices, and I would love to be involved in that, or to be just to play with it. We'll see if I'll have time. Okay. I don't mean to ignore your point, but I need to ask, from your years of experience, can writing be fun? No, yeah. I gotta say this. I was a big fan of William Goldman. William Goldman was a screenwriter in the 1970s and 80s especially, was one of his prime years as a writer. Where he used to talk about like how brutally hard it was to write, and it can be. I have to tell you the thing that's happened to me, because it was I used to literally cry and have breakdowns trying, and I've talked about that in the fear of writing video that is so controversial. All I can say is I have found great joy. I actually use my writing like a medicine at this point. If I don't do some creative work every day, it makes my life harder. And I can take a lot more life stress if I am carving out a little bit of creative time, even if it's just... Like, as I say in the Fear of Writing video, I was an office temp or office worker or employee at various New York offices for 12 years. And I had to find ways to sneak my creativity in between typing people's letters and catching the phones and stuff like that. So the answer is yes, writing can be fun. Writing should be fun. Have some damn fun. Think about what is it that is fun for you, because something in it is fun. You wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't some fun, some pleasure, some kick, some enjoyment at some bit of the work. Really start to look at that. This is why I try and urge everyone to look at the greatness involved. I will never forget when I first got a movie camera, got an 8mm movie camera, silent, in the 1970s, like 74, 75. And I got to make movies. And the first time I shot some film, and it was just a shot of the sky, and then I panned down to some buildings and sent it out to be processed, and it came back, and I put it in the projector and I watched it. I was like, oh my God, it's a real movie. Obviously not a real movie. It's not in a theater. It doesn't have movie stars, and it's about that square. But it was a movie. I had made a film. I made a film of a building. That's what you want to do. You want to have the joy and like, oh my God, these words on this page make a sentence, and that sentence has got something going for it. It's got some action or some humor or something. Have fun. Enjoy that, because you own that. And that's what I was saying about the technology. You now, like, it was really hard to shoot film back when I started. Now you can just take your phone and make a video right away. Boom! How can you not be doing this? Anyway, so the answer is it always sitting at the desk bleeding? No, it should not be. Spend your time figuring out how to make it not, which means, the other thing I would really advise is think about organizing your project. I'm going to put this video in there too. I'm writing down that I'm going to put the links to these videos that I'm mentioning. Organize a project. Not that you should do it the way I'm saying to do it. It's the way I do it. It took me a long time to figure out how it worked for me. And I thought I would tell you because I think it's pretty simple. And that's sort of the key, is make a process that's simple and within your abilities and control. Something you can afford to have, something you can do easily. So that every time you want to be creative, there's no stress over, am I going to get my document? It's going to be, okay, let me think about this story point in this. Let me think about this character. Let me think about a funny scene. Let me think about a cool way to describe something. That's when you'll have the fun, in my opinion. Don't worry about it. Okay. We all get our curmudgeon-y moments. Small steps. Yes, small steps. Everything is small steps. It's just that simple. Does any of today's great advice affect the way you think about your novel? No. As far as relevance in time, the cool thing about writing a novel now is that it's really not important. There is no such thing as an important novel anymore. Seriously. When I was a kid, novels were important. They were one of the pillars of culture. And now they're not. Now they are going the way of classical music. And I think a lot of people are still reading, but they are no longer culturally central. I think partly because there's no more a center. The cool thing about that is it means I'll do the best I can. My novel will not take the world by storm. Who knows? It might get picked up by a real publisher. It might get picked up by a movie company. You never know. But let's think about that. Let's think about the idea that the importance of a book is whether or not it gets picked up by a movie company. That's crazy talk. A good novel should be unfilmable, if really. Anyway, the answer is I am one of the things I'm really hoping you notice is how much I try to take my own advice. Okay, that in fact the advice I am giving you is partly what I am trying to live with or through. That there is no like I'm not doing that or I'm beyond that or something. Anything I am saying to you, I am doing. Truly. Oh. PG Bell has a little promo. We're going to say for those of you who are in the UK and can go to BBC Two, okay. Sabrina, hi Sabrina. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. The point of doing this is that I genuinely feel like when I come here for an hour a week, I'm helping. Like I'm having fun sharing. This is not just, oh, you people need help. This is, isn't this cool? Isn't this art stuff fun, cool, helpful, exciting, interesting? And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the troubles we have, and then the good of it, the possibilities, the play, the fun, the joy, and that actually gives me some good feeling. Okay, the idea of writing narrative games excites me. Yes, I wish I could learn more about games. I just don't think I have time. But I really do believe that gaming is going to become a fascinating new narrative art form, and if you're young and want to dabble in that, look into it. Okay, gonna wind it down now. Got some stuff to do. Is writing for screen or screenplay the same as writing for stage plays? Are the formats different? Yes, the formats are different. Let me tell you about a video I did, because truly there's everything has been done here. This one, script format. Okay, I will put a link in about 10-15 minutes after this is done. You can find a link. That's about 45 minutes. I share my screen, show you how a script is formatted for the screen. And then obviously the internet is full of stuff about this. Okay, my first film was a dog chasing a kite. Yeah, cool. That sounds great, actually. My first film was a tiny Lego T-Rex walking with motors and then falling pathetically down the stairs. It's a comedy or perhaps a tragedy. Wondering what software you are using that enables you to find and display the thumbnails for your videos quickly of these live sessions. I am using a thing called Ecamm, Ecamm, and it's got this whole panel. Like right now, I'm looking at my image. I've also got a big set of notes up on the screen, on my computer screen. I've got your comments. I've got my sound levels, and I've got a long list of what they call overlays in which I can put up these thumbnails. Alas, those thumbnails are not links, but that's why I have to jot down, like, put a link in. Okay. Novels are a dime a dozen. Yes. It's just a thing you love doing. Exactly. And honestly, it's not that there aren't good ones, that there isn't a literary culture. I think there is. What I'm saying is it's no longer winner-take-all Olympics presidential politics. Novels are now an art form, like the radio play or the theater play. They're just a cool art form that some people are going to really love. And if you're into it, you should do it. That's the way I'm doing it. I grew up with them. I love them. There's something about that particular kind of experience that I want to do, and it's within my ability. Michael, I see your notes. That's good. That's good. Okay. Covers by guys. You are welcome. The Reitemans. Thank you very much. Covers by guys. Nice to meet you. And thank you for the Reitemans. That's a new concept. I second Sabrina's thank you. You are all welcome. Yeah. Reitemans. Let's get our Reitemans. Okay, listen. I'm gonna go, and I will be back the Wednesday after New Year's. I believe it's January 3rd. I will see you then. In the meantime, please take care of yourselves. Think about your possibilities and learn to love your limits. Work within your limits and get stuff done and have fun, because what you should be doing is going and writing something. Go write something.